In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Every day, sometimes multiple times daily, Newsweek, Time Magazine, London Guardian, New York Times write articles saying I'm calling for violence when all we've ever done is called for peace and nonviolence. PBS is here today. Nightline just called. They want to do an entire 8-minute profile on Alex Jones only. It is very creepy because I never intended 14, 15 years ago when I started getting on air to have had this big of an effect and to have learned as much as I've learned. But it's a testament to all of you out there, what you can do if you take action. But I don't like to talk about myself, but I do get some concern and try to analyze this. Dr. Bob Bowman, what does it sound like to you that they're demonizing all of us now, claiming we're for violence, but specifically singling me out? I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have. Do you have any advice for me?
Well, I'd say to keep doing what you're doing and be just as public as you can, because the more in the public eye you are, the less they can do to you. The people who get picked off are usually the ones that very few people have heard of. And so I'd say just keep out there in the public eye and give them a black eye. Keep doing it, Alex. That's all I got to say.
But why are they coming after me so much? I mean, I guess it's
effective. You're effective. That's why.
You know, I committed to this just like you committed to telling the truth, and I've passed the point of no return a long time ago. But it is creepy to have the eye of the beast looking at you.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I'd like to talk about. We've talked a lot about the past. I'd like to talk a little bit about the present and the near future, because I'd like to talk about a little about our plans for how to take back the country and stop all this craziness.
Okay, we're going to do that, and we'll also have you back because you're a treasure, Dr. Bob Bowman. But you know the old saying: when you're over the target, you're getting the flank, like when you had SAM missiles getting shot at you in Vietnam. But while we've got you picking your brain, we talked during a break about CERN. If you think it's a danger, you gave me your answer. We also talked about, and you said you were aware of it, that the Air Force has talked about they're trying to develop antimatter weapons. I mean, isn't that dangerous? I mean, even the testing of those. Talk about CERN versus antimatter weapons.
Okay, well, CERN, the equivalent of Brookhaven cyclotron in the corner of Switzerland and France there, the European version. CERN, I've been there. I've been through it and looked at their operations. I don't see anything nefarious about it. Scientific knowledge can always be used for good or evil, and all too often evil, and they're producing new scientific knowledge. They're also playing around a little bit with the collisions between matter and antimatter, and that theoretically can put out an awful lot of energy. And it is dangerous, and the experiments have to be extremely carefully controlled. Now, as far as taking antimatter and weaponizing it, I have never heard of any effort which has been anywhere near successful in making weapons out of this stuff. It's too hard to produce, too hard to contain. I don't see anything of that kind in the foreseeable future.
But it is dangerous from the physicists I've read, mainline physicists, that the Pentagon admits they are playing with it and trying to isolate it. I mean, couldn't that create potentially some type of chain reaction?
Yes, it is dangerous, and there are a lot of things that are going on that are dangerous that I have been opposed to from the beginning, like HAARP up in Alaska, and I've been up there to that facility. I think it's extremely dangerous to dump huge amounts of money, of energy. It's money to the people who sell them the gas that they're turning into energy. Dumping all that energy into the stratosphere is extremely dangerous. They're talking about weather modification. They're talking about mind control. They're talking about all sorts of weird things, but they don't really know what they're doing, and it could have very negative consequences that they don't know how to control. So I have been against the HAARP facility from the beginning.
Well, here's a quick question. Here's a quick example. About 4 years ago, in the interviews on YouTube and Google everywhere, just Alex Jones interviews, head of HAARP, we had the private PhD director, but the military runs it. And when I was contacted by HAARP, and they said, you want to clear up rumors, we'll have the director on. I was contacted. And so then comes the day to get him on for an hour-long interview, and I've got some colonel bossing me around during the breaks, and they've got the line under their control, fading him down several times. Then he starts talking about, we have a lot of fun. He's like a mad scientist. We can even, ignite the atmosphere some nights and create artificial aurora borealis. Then they turn him down, gripe at him during the break. I mean, this was bizarre. But, I mean, it was really the director of HAARP we had on. Why would they contact me to come on, and then why would he then start talking about igniting the atmosphere? This didn't sound too safe.
Yeah, well, they've, I guess, figured that the colonels could control him. But, when scientists start talking about their stuff, they just start blabbing a lot of times. And sure, that's what happened. But we're trying to infiltrate the Congress. We're trying to get rid of almost all the incumbents. In 2008, we had about 30 members of our organization, the Patriots, run for Congress around the country, but they all ran as Greens or Libertarians or Independents or write-ins, and of course nobody got elected. So we're taking a different tack this time. We're having each of our chapters groom people within the chapter to run in the Democratic and Republican primaries.
Well, Bob, let me do this. Let me do this because I promised to go to calls, and you've been very gracious with your time. How about when the interview ends, we pick a date when you're going to be at your home next week, and we have you on for a full hour about your program to get true patriots elected to Congress. People can find out at your website as well. How about you come on for a full hour just on solutions next week?
Sure.
Okay, let's set that up because I want to go to calls now. I promised to. We've only got 4 minutes in this segment, a short 5-minute segment before we let you go at the bottom of the hour. But give out your website one more time where you've got more of this battle plan up there.
Yeah, thepatriots.us, and there's information there on what you can do to help. We desperately need money. We're about $1.5 million in debt. And I'm on the hook for it personally. We desperately need some contributions, and you can do that through the net. The other thing is I've just published a book called A Populist Vision for America. And one of the chapters in that book is all about what individual citizens can do. So anybody who wants that book can request it. And so get on the website.
And next week, we'll spend an hour on solutions and the book with Dr. Bob Bowman. So we'll set you up for that as soon as the radio interview ends. Let's talk to Mark in California. Mark, you're on the air with Dr. Bob Bowman. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Alex. Hi, doctor. How you doing?
Great.
My first question was about 9/11.
Yep.
In your experience, what has been the best way of communicating